So in this episode, when you think that Central cannot be any more shady or any more evil, we truly see that they are a dark side and terrible people in general, especially Izumi, Arena's father. Man, you feel really bad for Hayama. We get the backstory of why he joined the Elite 10, which, all the stuff that I said in last week's review of kind of my thing of why he joined, it was kind of, I feel like, spot on this episode that I got it all right. It was for June. But either way, guys, let's get into today's episode. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ranger Flame, and welcome everyone to Shokugeki no Soma, or Food Wars Season 3, Episode 17, or Season 4, Episode 5, whatever you want to call it. In today's episode, we really focus on Hayama's character, which this is a little bit of a mini arc, if you look at it so far, of Soma versus Hayama. We get that kind of this little mini arc, of course, last episode, and then I feel like we're going to get, the final episode for it next week, which we have seen, at the end of today's episode or the preview, whatever. So Hayama's character I want to talk about first, because that was really, I guess, the first half of today's episode, kind of the background of what is going on, why he wasn't part of the Rebel Alliance, to begin with, or even, him not even being in Food Wars whatsoever. Like, we had no idea what happened to him, and we see kind of the backstory of what's going on. So we see, of course, we know what Central wants to do to Tutsuki, like disband all the, the research groups, disband the clubs, disband the dorms, and make it a whole new, Tutsuki, but of course Central's demands or Izumi's demands. And we see, for Hayama, like kind of his character, that he will do no matter what to protect Jun or even the research group. We know that his story, his, past, I think it was in season 2, where you remembered that he was homeless, he had nowhere to go, and it was because of Jun that he is the person that who he is here today. The guy that's a master of spices, and he probably wouldn't even be alive today if it wasn't for her. So he really dedicates, his life to the research group, to Jun, because this is kind of a dream for him. This is what he wanted to become when he was young, and now he will do anything to protect it. And we see a backstory of that, of him actually defending himself. He was a rebel, going up against Central. They were going to take down the Shinomi research group. If I'm saying that correctly, I'm sorry that if I'm not. And we see him talking to Izumi in this episode, and literally Izumi has no human emotions whatsoever. He is truly a human being that only cares for himself and for him to, be on top, for him to be a king. And we get that sad moment in this episode, because just talking to Hayama, we see him have this research, and this research is really important to Hayama and Jun, because, at the start of all this, them building the research group was a really difficult struggle for the both of them, and they wanted, sponsors and people all around the world to look at what they created, and they're about to get to that point, but we see that Central completely led the sponsors away. They're on top. Shinomi was about to have something really important in their lives, something that would really make them to the top, for people to notice them. But Central was like, nope, we're gonna literally throw that away. This is a terrible group of people, even though they're not, and Izumi is. And the research that they built, with the spices and the ingredients that they have all collaborated, the stuff that they put their blood, sweat, and tears in to make is about to be destroyed unless Hayama joins or tries to join the Elite 10 and Central. And that's what we get right there. This was a big, part that Hayama didn't want to be a part of in whatsoever. He doesn't want to be this guy and to go up against his friends or anything, but to protect Jun and to protect this research group, he was forced. And we saw that in last episode of him taking all the second graders, I think third years or even first years, and he was the 9th spot now in the Elite 10, which is a step higher than what Arena is right now, which she is the 10th seat. So that's a big background change that we get from Hayama. And we know that Hayama isn't really a bad person. This is a thing where, all of his life just crumbled apart by Central and by Izumi. And for him to return it, it's to beat, of course, all the rebels. And once he has done that, he will get Jun and the research group back on track. So we see that big moment of, Hayama, I guess him trying to become a villain, but he has to be, because if he doesn't succeed, then all that will crumble away. And that's just a dark part in Central that, we've only seen, Central so far is, in the start of season 3, or I guess the first half of season 3, is them trying to get rid of everything, even though the Polar Star Dormitory, we see Yukira or Soma, defeat the 9th seat, and him actually saving the Polar Star Dormitory, and, Central, on the first stage or second stage, tries to ruin the rebels, but of course they pass. past, and they're on the third one now versus the Elite 10. So we see a different side of Central, of them being more evil and more cruel. And I feel like we're getting that every single episode now. Like, these are really terrible people and will ruin your lives. They do not care whatsoever. But either way, let's get to the topic that I felt like it's going to be really important going on throughout Food Wars. Like, this is something big, and people are going to fail 100%. All the rebels, you are not going to make it to the final stage at all. We know from stage 3 that the rebels are going to be facing the Elite 10. We know Soma is versing Hayama. That's the 9th seed. We see Arena in this episode making a dish that we've seen from the first and second stage. And, you know, she's calmly doing it. You know, she is Izumi's daughter. She is the Elite 10 spot. So she is secured. She's going to pass no matter what. She's a god 10. She's a main character. She's going to move on. But we see from the rest of the rebels, you know, in this group, we know that Aladini and Megumi are going up against the second seat. And we see something else. And what I mean of the rebels being, you know, disbanding in this episode, like, they are not going to move on. Not all of them are going to make it, and it's really sad because, you know, if they fail this, that means that they are expelled from Tutsuki. And we see that just from, you know, the little slides of, you know, the rebels facing against the Elite 10 members. And one thing I want to point out is Aladini's brother versus the first seat. Like, when I saw that little image, like that, literally that 1 or 2 second clip in the anime, I know that he's going to fail 100%. Like, I don't want to disgrace Aladini's brother, but, you know, going up against the first seat, if Soma or anyone else can't beat him, you're not going to beat him, so he's out. We even see Mito versing against the 4th seat. To be honest, I don't see her winning. Like, I feel like the top 5 spots are going to be the most struggle. I don't know about Aladini or Megumi. You know, those are 2 big important main characters. Maybe they will pass, or maybe it'll just be Sona and Arena, you know, the last one standing. And we see each other individual. We see Aruto versus the 5th seed, if I look at it. So I feel like everyone is going to fail except for Soma, you know, Arena, or if possibly Megumi and Aladini. The top 4 right there are going to move on. I feel like, you know, we're going to maybe see that, you know, at the end of Soma versus Hayama. We'll see the other students, you know, maybe Soma calling, even he calls, you know, Alice in this episode as well, of what they're doing. You know, we see her and Kiba going up against someone. Maybe they'll move on as well. You know, they're really big, important characters. If it's the 2 of them going up against an Elite 10 member, they could possibly win. But it's definitely a scary thought that I feel like half or more of the members of the rebels are going to be expelled. That's my vibe going on right now, and literally the short clips that we see in this episode. But I guess the big topic now is the bear dish. You know, we finally see Soma versing against Hayama at the end of today's episode, of them, of course, making the bear meat dish. Introduced to 2 new characters in this anime, which are kind of weird. They're twins. Their names are Berta and Scylla, and they were hired, which is kind of cool. We see a little bit of a backstory of, you know, Alice's parents. We even see Alice's dad being a judge for the bear meat here versus Soma and Hayama, which is kind of cool. You know, we get to see more characters. We get to see new family members, because really we've always been focusing on Arena's, you know, kind of point of view, but now we get to see Alice, which we actually seen Alice's mother before, you know, in Food Wars, but it's kind of cool to see her father, which is a judge. And what I like about this so much is that it's different. You know, Central always has, you know, picks judges here or there, or even the teachers that no matter what, if, you know, the food's bad or if it's great, I feel like they would expel them. But these are judges that, well, no matter what, whoever wins, they'll move them on. But we see, you know, Scylla and in this episode, what you feel like when you first look at them, they're not really anything special, but what we get kind of from the dialogue in this episode is that they're brain psychologists, and they're also, you know, hired by Alice's mom to, you know, kind of be chefs and, you know, kind of be judges. So I guess that's a little bit of a cool thing on there. I don't know why. Like, I feel like we should get a lot more backstory into why they are so special. Like, we know that they are smart, that they are good judges, you know, they're good cooks, but I feel like we need a little bit more backstory, because when they were introduced in today's episode, it was really them messing with Kuga and them kind of, just demonstrating of them being judges to Hayama and Soma. So hopefully we get more backstory onto them. Cooking aspect in today's episode, which we have seen, at the start of, last week's episode, that this is a big and important dish for Soma. This is a dish that he has never, had before. This is something that he has never made. He tries, dishes here or there. And the big part that we see from episode 1 that he had to really conquer is the smell of the bear meat. But there's actually 2 stages to it. You got to pass the smelliness part, and then afterwards have to make the food good. And we see him kind of conquer that in today's episode, kind of making the same dish as Hayama, which is really frying it. And what I love about Food Wars so much is I feel like it's a good teaching aspect, and also makes you really hungry as well. I feel like that's Food Wars, point of view when you're watching this episode, which you do learn a lot of things from cooking. Like, I feel like it's a really cool thing. Like, to me, I'm not a cook whatsoever. I would never do anything like this, but it's definitely interesting of, having stuff like this and the tools and what you need to do to make these dishes. It's really cool that you could even do that stuff at your home in the future, which I really like. It's them both frying the dishes, making the bear meat good, and it's a really big challenge for Soma as well, and that we get in today's episode. Because, at the start or at the ending of season 2, if I believe during the autumn finals, Soma is glad that Hayama won against him and Kiba. Hayama winning, Soma wouldn't be the chef that he is here today. We learned even from Food Wars in general that Soma is the biggest loser of them all when it comes to winning. But that's a good thing, because if he does loses, he can make up those mistakes and become a better chef, which we see this. And we actually get that in today's episode of him actually conquering something that was really difficult. It was challenging, but he got through it. The judges loved it, but either way, we even have Hayama, of course, the spice god, introduces food. We haven't seen it, don't know the judges' results, and we're going to get that in next week's episode. But that was today's episode of Food Wars. I definitely enjoyed it. We've seen a background of how the rebels are going to be doing. Like I said, I feel like half or more are going to be expelled. They're going to be gone from these exams. Of course, we get more of Hayama's development of why he joined the Elite 10 in the first place. Why is he acting like the character as he is now? We finally get the fight between Hayama and Soma. They're kind of challenged. This is the 3rd time, which I feel like Soma is going to win this. He's the main character. There's no way that he's going to be gone. But I definitely want to see, Hayama's food and perspective on the judges. I feel like maybe it's going to be a tie. Like, that's what I'm going to be calling it right there. And maybe them have to make another dish here yet again, because we see that Soma delivered his first to the judges. So I'm going to be predicting that it's going to be a tie and them having to make another dish, and then Soma's going to be winning. So either way, today's episode, like I said, I loved it. It's a really enjoyable episode to watch. I feel like this episode, guys, really deserves an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely a must watch. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching my review here today for Food Wars. Like this video if you guys haven't. Comment down below what your favorite part of today's episode was, and subscribe to the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. But either way, guys, we'll see you next week for another Shokugeki no Soma or Food Wars review. Much love, and hope you all have yourselves an incredible day.